watch Driving with Gloves, you might notice that I'm sitting today on the other side of the car. The Brits would say that I would finally sit on the right side of the car, but is that right or wrong? Because most countries in the world drive on the right-hand side of the road. So the people are driving a left-hand drive car. This episode from Driving with Gloves is about which side has the most advantages, and therefore we go back thousands of years. Hi, my name is Cor, and welcome to my channel, Driving with Gloves. I always drive with car gloves. Your question might be, why do I drive with gloves? And my answer is, why not? So now I'm back on the left-hand drive position again, and I must say that for me personally it's way easier, because most of my life I've been driving on the right side of the road.
In private life, I have driven right-hand drive cars in left-hand drive traffic, but in the series Driving with Gloves I drove until now only once a right-hand drive car, as you can see here, but I drove it in Switzerland, where the traffic drives on the right lane.
But even in Switzerland you find many right-hand drive cars.
Most post delivery cars in Switzerland are right-hand drive, because then the postman can get out of the car without being in danger to be hit by another car passing by on the street side. But if traffic would drive left in Switzerland, they probably drive a left-hand drive car, for the reason as told before.
If you observe babies, you will notice that they do not have a preference for using either their left or right arm. There are a few adults who do not have this preference either, but that's very rare. These people are called ambidexter.
Normally, during the development of the brain, children between the age of 6 and 9 go through a lateralization phase, and afterwards they have a preference for either right or left.
But 70 to 90% of the world's population favor using their right hands, so it must be clear to you that it is way easier to drive with a left-hand drive configuration, because the gear lever is on the right and can be used with the right hand.
But in right-hand drive racing cars this is solved by putting the gear lever on the right-hand side. And since most new cars have an automatic gearbox, this is also no argument anymore.
So to find the answer, which is best, we have to go way further back in history, in times in which there were absolutely no cars at all.
Since I'm no time traveler, and since I have not ridden a horse for about 20 years now, yes, that's me riding a horse about 25 years ago, I thought it is wiser to show you something with a bicycle instead of a horse.
I favor my right hand, so if I walk with a bicycle, it's on my right side, and if I want to ride a bicycle, I will get onto this bicycle from the left side. And this will be the way 90% of the people will get onto their bikes. But I believe this bike is a bit too small for me.
You see, for a right-handed person it is way easier to lead the horse on the right, and certainly not on the left. And the right-handed person would get on a horse from the left side, completely similar to as getting on a bike. So if you ride a horse or a bike, it makes only sense to have left-hand traffic, because why would you get on your horse and then you need to turn it afterwards? It would make absolutely no sense.
And that is exactly what most people thought until not too long ago.
So why on earth does the majority of the world use right-hand traffic? From 221 countries in the world, only 59 countries have left-hand traffic, and these countries are mostly former British colonies.
But not long ago, this ratio was completely different.
In ancient times, left-hand traffic was the way to go for. It was used by the Egypts, the Greek and the Romans. Even in medieval times, left-hand traffic was used. Since most people are right-handed, it was easier to defend yourself and attack someone riding on a horse on the left lane and using your right arm to fight with a sword.
But the French didn't want that, because they had a very short emperor who couldn't use his right arm.
So the French military rode on the right lane, so everyone in France was forced to change to the right lane as well. Since this little emperor was a master in military tactics, he soon conquered most of Europe. And one of the first things he did was introducing right-hand traffic.
In 1815, Napoleon lost the Battle of Waterloo, actually Waterloo, nowadays Belgium, which meant that the Brits kept their left-hand traffic, but not only the Brits, also some of Scandinavia kept to left-hand traffic. But even the Austro-Hungarian Empire, who had changed under the French from left to right-hand traffic, changed back to left-hand traffic.
So in the beginning of the 20th century, many countries which have nowadays right-hand traffic still had left-hand traffic. But because of the Nazis and their good relationship to Henry IV, most of Europe changed to right-hand traffic. In the early 20th century, Ford launched the hugely popular Model T. Since the USA already standardized right-hand traffic, the first keep right law for driving in the United States was passed in 1792 and applied to the Philadelphia and Lancaster Turnpike. Henry Ford standardized in 1908 the Model T as left-hand drive, arguing that with right-hand drive and right-hand traffic, the passenger was obliged to get out on the street side and walk around the car, and that with steering from the left, the driver is able to see even the wheels of the other car and easily avoids danger. By 1915, other manufacturers followed Ford's lead due to the popularity of the Model T.
But not so in Italy, because in Italy it was all organized by the Italians, if you understand what I mean.
Until 1927, the countryside of Italy was right-hand traffic, while cities were left-hand traffic. But then they all changed to right-hand traffic. But Alfa Romeo and Lancia did produce left-hand drive cars until as late as 1950 and 1953, as many Italian drivers favored the right-hand drive layout even in right-hand traffic, as this offered the driver a clearer view of the edge of the road in mountainous regions at a time when many such roads lacked barriers or walls.
And although the organization of the Italians may not be the best in the world, they had a point there, because the Jungas road in Bolivia follows the argumentation of the Italians.
The Jungas Road is a road from La Paz to Coroico. In 1995, the Inter-American Development Bank named it the world's most dangerous road. In 2006, it was estimated that up to 300 travelers were killed along it each year. Crosses mark many places where vehicles have fallen.
Although Bolivia normally has right-hand traffic, it would be too dangerous on this road. No, here they have left-hand traffic, so the driver in his left-hand drive car can see better if he's driving over the edge.
The French part in Canada always had right lane traffic, but the other parts, as being a British colony, had left lane traffic. But they changed also to right-hand traffic in the 1920s.
So you could say that most of the world favors right-hand traffic. But a few things will amaze you.
Rwanda, a former Belgian colony in Central Africa, is right-hand traffic, but is considering switching to left-hand traffic to bring the country in line with other members of the East African Community, EAC. A survey carried out in 2009 indicated that 54% of the population were in favor of the switch. The reasons cited were the perceived lower cost of right-hand drive vehicles as opposed to left-hand drive versions of the same model, easier maintenance and the political benefit of harmonization of traffic regulations with other EAC countries.
But even in the capital of the UK, you have an exception on left-hand traffic. Savoy Court in London has right-hand traffic.
A special Act of Parliament gave traffic the privilege of driving on the right when entering Savoy Court from the Strand, because the Savoy Theatre is on the right-hand side. Taxis can deposit their fares directly outside the theatre without turning round in front of the Savoy Hotel, and when leaving, they are then free to pick a new fare from the hotel as they turn around. And also Gibraltar has right-hand traffic.
But what side is better, right or left? Well, I think it depends on where you grew up and what you are used to. But in this particular traffic situation, I would prefer left-hand traffic. So thank you very much for watching this episode from Driving with Gloves. Do not forget to like this video, do not forget to share this video and to subscribe to my YouTube channel. Thank you very much. See you next time in a new episode from Driving with Gloves.